Namaste students. So today we are dealing with a chapter that is chemical bonding. So we know that in and around us so many substances are present in our nature. How these substances are made up of, those are made up of the combination of your atoms which forms as molecules or compound, all those things. Now how these substances or molecules, compounds, how these will exist in our nature, that will be seen under the chapter that is chemical bonding. So how do these atoms of elements exist in our nature? So in your previous classes you might have studied regarding your periodic table. Okay, so there you have studied total 118 elements which is present in our nature. In that total 92 are naturally occurring elements and others are artificially prepared. So now these 92 naturally occurring elements, how it will exist in our nature. So you have studied in your periodic table only the last group if you will consider, which will be known as noble gas. So these noble gases, it will exist alone in the nature because its shell is already filled. Those are inert gases. Okay, so those will exist alone in the nature, which will be considered as monoatomic gases. Other elements, if you will consider, either it will be there with the molecule form or compound form. In the sense, it will be there with the combined state. Okay. So how do atoms of elements exist in our nature? So elements like hydrogen, oxygen, nitrogen, etc. other than noble gases exist in the nature in the combined state. For example, oxygen will exist as O2, nitrogen will exist as N2, as well as hydrogen as well as oxygen combination will be known as water molecule, etc. So but noble gases like helium, neon, argon, krypton, xenon, radon. So these noble gases which will not exist in nature in the form of combined gas. So they will exist as monoatomic gases. Now what is mean by molecules? So now as I said, it will be exist, all the elements it will exist in the form of molecules or compounds as I told. So now what is mean by these molecules? Molecules are nothing but those atoms, those single atoms, either two or more than that. Okay, so those atoms will combine with one another. It can be same atoms or it can be different atoms also. So when this will combine together, so then you are going to call it as molecule. So now a group of two or more atoms known as molecules which is have independent of existence. So atoms of same element or different elements can join to form a molecule. It can be same or it can be different elements. So some of the examples we will see here. So first example is oxygen. So here oxygen is nothing but which will be having two same atom, that is oxygen. Okay. So one oxygen atom will combine with another oxygen atom so that oxygen molecule O2 will take place. In the same way, another example if you see, that is water, H2O. Okay. So how this water molecule will exist? Hydrogen, two hydrogen atom are going to combine with one oxygen atom so that formation of water molecule will takes place. So this is regarding your molecules. So next we will be studying regarding chemical bond. So these molecules, how it will exist? So it will exist because of some kind of force of attraction which is present between them. Okay. So though hydrogen as well as oxygen will come together, so there should be some kind of force of attraction which holds them together to form a molecules. So what is that we will be learning under this concept. So that is known as chemical bond. So what is mean by chemical bond? So the attractive force which holds your constituents, either atoms, ions or molecules together in different chemical species. So if you take any of the chemical species, that will be having the combination of atoms. So that will be combined by an attractive force. Okay, a kind of force of attraction will be there, so that holds those molecules or compounds together. So that will be considered as chemical bond. Now, while the atoms of noble gases exist freely in the nature, so now till now we have have learned those molecules as well as compounds when it will combine, how it will combine due to their electrostatic or any kind of force of attraction. So now if you consider noble gases, as I have told, those are monoatomic gases. So how these monoatomic gases will exist in our nature? So this will exist alone in the nature. Why it is so? Because noble gases are inert gases. Okay, so both are same. You can call it as noble gas or you can call it as inert gases. So these gases, like which all noble gases are present in our nature? That is helium, neon, argon, krypton, xenon, radon. So these are the noble gases which is present in our nature, are the most stable elements because atoms of these elements possess an octet structure, that is 8 electrons in the outermost orbit. Means what? So here helium, neon, argon, see these elements if we will consider, electronic configuration of these elements if we will consider, helium is having atomic number as 2. Okay, so when you write electronic configuration, you are going to write it as 1s2. So it means that its first shell is having 2 electrons. You know that in an atom, the first shell, it consists of only 2 electrons, not more than that. Okay, so first shell will be having 2 electrons, which is already filled. So we can call it as duplet. Okay, so when it is filled, its last shell, any of the atom, so its last shell when it is filled, those atoms will become stable in nature. So when it is stable, it will be having less amount of energy. Okay, so when any atom, when it is more stable, it will be having less amount of energy, so that it will not go for bonding. Okay, so here noble gas is also same. So it is already filled. Helium, if we consider the first shell which is having 2 electrons, which will be considered as duplet here. So here it is already filled, so it doesn't undergo for bonding. So the next element, that is neon. So neon atomic number is 10. So total 10 electrons are present inside. So now electronic configuration 1s2, 2s2, 2p6 it comes. In the sense last shell, that is your second shell, will be having total 6 plus 2, that is 8 electrons. So last shell is having 8 electrons. If it is having 8 electrons in the last shell, then it is filled. Okay, so it will not go for bonding. In the same way, the next element, if you consider argon. So argon is having 18 electrons. Okay, so if you write electronic configuration 1s2, 2s2, 2p6, 3s2, 3p6. So third shell. Okay, so here third shell if we consider 6 plus 2, that is 8 electrons. So in its third shell, that is the last shell, it is having total 8 electrons, which is filled, octet. Okay, octet in the sense 8. So 8 electrons are filled, so it is stable. So in the same way, the next element if we consider under the same group, that is krypton, which is having 36 electrons. So 1s2, 2s2, 2p6, 3s2, 3p6, 3d10, 4s2, 4p6. So fourth shell. So it is having fourth shell, which is the last shell. So 6 plus 2, again 8 electrons, which is filled and it is stable. It will not go for bonding. So the last one is xenon, which is having 54 electrons. So here if we go with electronic configuration, it comes as 1s2, 2s2, 2p6, 3s2, 3p6, 3d10, 4s2, 4p6, 5s2, 5p6. So last shell is fifth shell. So 6 plus 2, 8 electrons. It is also filled. Stable electronic configuration. So you should remember the noble gases which is present in our nature, which is very important. So those are helium, neon, argon, krypton, xenon. So to remember easily, you can remember like this. He never argued with krypton and xenon. Okay, or you can say it as he never argued with krypton and xenon. Just to remember the concept. Okay, remember your noble gases. Okay, so that is helium, neon, argon, krypton, xenon. So these are your noble gases which will not go for bonding due to its stability, because in its last shell it is having 8 electrons. So if we will consider other elements, as I have told, other elements which will be there in the form of combined state. So why it is? So why it will go for bonding? We will see with the configuration with those elements also. So first we will go with sodium. Okay, sodium, which will be represented as Na, which is having total of 11 electrons. So when you write electronic configuration configuration comes as 1s2, 2s2, 2p6 and 3s1. So 3, that is 3s1 in the sense third shell is the last shell. So how many electrons it is having in the last shell? 1 electron. So as I have told, to become stable 8 electrons are must in the last shell according to octet rule. So here the last shell is having 1 electron. So it is unstable. Okay, unstable in the sense it will be having more amount of energy. Energy will be more in that case. When stability is less, energy will be more. When stability is more, energy will be less. So here it is not stable and energy will be more. So what it will do? It will go for bonding. Okay, so it is having 1 electron in the last shell, so that it will be going for bonding. So the same way, next element, if we consider chlorine for example. So total 17 electrons are there. So when you are writing electronic configuration, either in this form you can write or in this form also. So this how you are going to write? 1 + 2. First shell is having 2 electrons. Second shell are having 6 + 2, that is 8 electrons. Third shell are having 2 + 5, that is 7 electrons. So the last shell is having total number of 7 electrons. Again it is unstable because it doesn't have one more electron. Okay, one more electron to be filled, so that it will get your octet structure. The next one, carbon. In the same way, carbon, if you consider total 6 electrons are present, same way if you write electronic configuration, total 4 electrons are present in the last shell. So again 4 electrons which is unstable. So it will go for bonding. In the same way, nitrogen, 7 electrons are present in nitrogen. So last shell if we consider 3 + 2 is 5. So 5 electrons are there. So again it doesn't have 8 electrons in the outermost shell. So 3 more electrons if needed. So it will go for bonding. Okay, now we'll see with the reason why these elements will go for bonding, as I have told octet concept. Okay, so some more reasons will be going under this concept. So now first reason is for chemical bond formation. So the first reason it comes like this. So tendency of atoms to attain octet structure. To get that octet structure, it will go for bonding. Why it is so? Just now I have told, last shell it should have 8 electrons in the valence shell. Okay, so the last shell will be considered as valence shell. So that last shell should have total number of 8 electrons, so that we can say it as stable. But some of the element it doesn't have. To get that 8 electrons, it will go for bonding. So now the atoms of elements other than noble gases have no octet structure. It doesn't have octet structure as we have seen with example, and hence it tried to attain 8 electrons. Next point, or 2 electrons in their valence shell by combining with the same or other atoms. Why we have mentioned with the 2 electrons? Because all the atoms it cannot go with 8. Okay, it cannot go with octet. For example, if you go with the hydrogen, hydrogen is having only 1 shell. Okay, so it is having only 1 electron, but it cannot go with octet rule. So the first shell will be filled only by 2 electrons. So either it gains 1 electron or it loses 1 electron. So it will go with duplet structure. Okay, so for that, those kinds of elements it goes with this rule. Okay, hydrogen and helium. See, this picture shows now here electrons. For example, hydrogen if I consider, atomic number is 1, it is having only 1 electron. So this in hydrogen, as I have told, duplet is possible, so that it goes with 1 electron. It needs 1 electron so that it will become stable. If you go with the carbon, atomic number is 6, as you have written electronic configuration 6 in the sense, first shell will have 2 electrons and the second shell will have total 4 electrons, 4 + 2, 6. So how many electrons it need to form octet? It needs just 4 electrons. In the same way, nitrogen needs 3 electrons to become octet. In the same way, oxygen if we consider, oxygen it needs only 2 electrons to become octet. Okay, the next one. When 2 or more atoms combine to form a molecule, the electron in the outermost orbits are rearranged in such a way as to achieve octet or duplet structure of the nearest noble gas. This is called as octet rule. So as I have told, octet rule is nothing but just to attain that 8 electronic configuration. Okay, because your noble gases are already field. Stable it is because by attaining those 8 electronic configuration in its outermost shell. So to attain that 8 electronic configuration, your all the atoms will go for bonding. So that rule will be considered as octet rule. So total 8 electrons should be there in its outermost shell to say that atom is stable. Okay. For example, now formation of NaCl. So here example if we consider Na, sodium metal, which is having electronic configuration as 2, 8, 1. So the last shell is having only 1 electron. Okay, so this is one atom and another atom, that is chlorine. So chlorine if we consider 2, 8, 7. So now you have sodium, okay, you have sodium as well as you have chlorine. So now how this will go for bonding? Sodium in its outermost shell, it is having 1 electron. Your chlorine, it is having total 7 electrons in their outermost shell. So now chlorine, how many electrons it need to become stable? It needs just 1 electron. So it needs just 1 electron to become stable. Here sodium, what it will do, if you remove this electron, the last electron, the inner electron will come like this, 2, 8. So this will be a stable molecule. Okay, it will become a stable. So what it will do, it will go for bonding. So what this sodium will do, sodium will give this electron. Okay, sodium will give this electron to chlorine, so that here electronic configuration will come as 2, 8. Here electronic configuration will come as 2, 8, 8. So now this is stable. See, now sodium has been given its electron as well as chlorine will take this electron. If you see the configuration, now sodium ion will have 2, 8 in its outermost shell, as well as chlorine. Your chloride ion, if you consider, it has taken the electron, so it is there in terms of ionic form, so that it will get 2, 8, 8. So in its outermost shell, it is having total 8 electrons. So this is the way so that the electrons or the atoms will go for bonding. Next, another reason why it will go for bonding. The second reason is tendency of atoms to attain minimum energy and maximum stability. As I have told, any atom to get that maximum stability, it will go for bonding. So when it gets maximum stability, it will have less amount of energy, minimum energy. So here, when 2 or more atoms combine to form a molecule, the potential energy of bonded system will decrease. So when these 2 atoms will combine, okay, so by the atom after combination, whatever the formation will take place, this system will have less amount of energy. So less amount of energy in the sense that is more stable. So bonded system has energy than the unbonded system. So as I have told, first it was unbonded. Okay, atoms was unbonded, so it was having more amount of energy as well as less stability. So as it combined, it shows more stability. So underline, say this scientist, it should have more stability. So then only it can, we can say that the molecule is very stable. So bonded system will get more stability than unbonded system. Therefore, atoms combine from a molecules to attain minimum energy as well as maximum stability. Now, octet rule. We have already explained regarding octet rule. Now, who has given this rule? So that is nothing but the scientist known as Cossel as well as Lewis. So they have given this rule, which is known as octet rule. So what they said? They said atoms can combine either by transfer of valence electron from one atom to another, or by sharing of valence electron in order to have an octet electron structure in their valence shell. So this is known as octet rule. So this theory of chemical combination is also known as electronic theory of chemical bonding. So what they said, whenever it will go for bonding, to attain that stability or to get that 8 electrons in their last shell, which will be considered as valence shell, what it has it has supposed to do. So here either it should go with electron, either losing of electron or gaining of electron, which I have already explained with the sodium chloride. Okay, so either it should go with the transfer of electron, or it should go with sharing of electrons. If one atom is having one electron in the last shell, another atom is having one electron in the last shell, that should be shared so that both will get those electrons. So either transferring of electrons or by sharing of electrons, formation of bond will take place, and that will be considered as octet rule, so that it will get 8 electrons in its outermost shell. Now, what is mean by valence electron? Okay, so you might have seen there in last slide they have given as valence electron, and you should know what is meant by valence electron. Valence electrons are nothing but in an atom, the last shell, okay, how many electrons it is present, so that will be considered as valence electron. For example, sodium if you will consider, the electronic configuration comes as 2, 8, 1. So the last shell is having 1 electron, so which will be considered as valence electron. So the number of electrons which is present in the last shell, as you will write electronic configuration, the last shell you are supposed to check how many electrons are present, that electrons you are supposed to consider as valence electron. So the electrons present in the outermost shell of an atom are called as valence electron, because the combining capacity of the element depends on the number of these electrons. Now, here they have given one more term, that is valency. Valence electron and valency both are different. Okay, so valence electron is nothing but how many electrons are present in the last shell, that will be considered as valence electron. Valency is nothing but that is the combining capacity of that element. Okay, so how many those valence electrons are there, right? So in those valence electron, how many electrons will go for bonding? It need not to be all the electrons will go for bonding. Okay, so in those last shell, how many electrons are present, that will be considered as valence electron. In those valence electron, how many electrons will go for bonding, that will be considered as valency. Okay. Now, what is mean by core electrons? Core electrons are nothing but, core means what? Inner. So, in an atom, inner electrons are present, as well as just now I explained regarding valence electron. Okay, the electron present in the last shell. So, the inner electrons other than this valence electrons are considered to be core electrons. All the electrons present in the inner orbital excluding valence electron are called as core electrons, which do not participate in chemical reaction. Why? Because only the electron which is present in the last shell, it can go for bonding. So if you go with the picture, here it explains. So for example, this is a sodium atom. Okay, so this is a sodium atom. Here inside nucleus is present. Nucleus is nothing but which is a combination of proton and neutron. So here nucleus is present. So here it is having one shell, second shell and third shell. So first shell is having 2 electrons, second shell is having total 8 number of electrons, and the last one is having 1 electron. So the last shell electron will be considered as valence electron, and the inner electron, this 2, 8. Okay, so the inner electron we are going to call it as core electrons. So this is regarding your core electrons as well as valence electron. Now, electron dot structure. The same scientist Lewis, he has given the representation of electron in terms of valence shell electron. Okay, so what he has told, this electron representation, it will help us to identify how many valence electrons are present in an atom. Okay, so now for example, if we consider hydrogen is having only 1 electron in the last shell, so it will be represented by a dot. For example, if you consider, okay, sodium will consider. So as we have seen with the example, it is having 2, 8, 1. So 1 electron is present in the last shell, so that 1 electron you will be representing as 1 dot. For example, if you consider aluminium, it is having 3 electrons in its last shell. Okay, so that will be represented as 1, 2, 3. So this is the representation of electrons. Valence electron will be considered as Lewis dot structure, because he is a scientist who has given this concept. Okay, just by seeing this, we can identify how many electrons are present in those atoms. Okay, so that representation will be considered as Lewis dot structure. Now here, element lithium if you take, atomic number is 3. So with electronic configuration if you go, it goes with 1s2, okay, 1s2, it is 2s1, okay, the electronic configuration 1s2, 2s1. Now group number if you consider, so this lithium comes under first group and the valence electron we are going to consider as 1. So it is having only one valence electron, so you are going to represent with 1 dot. In the same way it goes with beryllium. Beryllium is having total valence electron, that is 2 in its outermost shell, so 2 dots. Boron is having total 3 electrons in its last shell, so 3 dots. Carbon is having total 4 electrons in its last shell, so 4 dots. So this is the representation of your Lewis dot structure. Now, I have already explained regarding valency also, right? So the number of valence electron, how you are going to consider the electron present in the last shell. Okay, valence is nothing but how many electrons will go for bond. So till 4. Okay, if valence electrons, if it is 1, 2, 3, 4, then the same thing will be considered as valency. The same number will go for bonding. So if you consider lithium, 1 electron will go for bonding. Beryllium, 2 electron will go for bonding. Boron, 3. Carbon, 4. But after 4, okay, if the valence electron is more in number, okay, for example, nitrogen, last shell is having 5 electrons. So valence electrons are nothing but 5. Lewis dot structure also 5 dot you are supposed to represent. Okay. So now here, as I told, if the valence electron is more than 4, okay, so by then to check the valency of an atom, what you are supposed to do, octet is nothing but 8, right? So 8 minus that valence electron you have to do. So that it says that only 3 electrons can go for bonding. From nitrogen, only 3 electrons will go for bonding. Okay, so you might have seen nitrogen will be having triple bond. Okay, the same way, oxygen. Oxygen total atomic number is 8, so that 4 plus 2, 6 electrons are present, 6 dot structure. So valence electrons are 6, but the valency is 2. Okay, so that is 8 minus 6, that is 2. You might have seen oxygen molecule if you will take O2 will be having double bond. Fluorine if you will consider same thing, 5 plus 2, 7, so total 7 electrons, 7 dot structure. So valence electrons are 7. But valency, if you will consider 8 minus 7, that is 1. So 1 electron go for bond. Next, significance of Lewis symbol. So the first one is the number of valence electron helps to calculate the valency of the element, as you have seen now. Okay, just by seeing the dot you can calculate valence electron as well as you can calculate valency also. The valency is generally either equal to the number of dots in Lewis symbol or 8 minus the number of dots or valence shell. According to Lewis, he has told it comes like this. Valency, when you are finding, either it is same number of dots or it goes with 8 minus those number. If it is more than 4, you can go with this concept. Okay, it goes with 8 minus that number. Next, we are going to deal with types of bond. Okay, so molecule formation will take place. Okay, so compound formation will take place by a chemical bond. Now, what kinds of bonds are present? Okay, so that we are going to deal. As I have told, either it goes with the transfer of electron or sharing of electron will take place. Okay, so for that concept, we have given particular name. Okay, so that we are going to deal here. So now types of bonds are nothing but the bond formed between the atoms depends on the way in which the combining atoms attain octet structure in their valence shell. Okay, so how it will get that octet structure, based on that we are going to say on which way it will go for bonding. So based on that way we are going to say the types of bond. So total we have these many types of bond. So the first one will be considered as ionic or electrovalent bond, and the second one covalent bond, and third one coordinate covalent bond, fourth is metallic, and the fifth one is hydrogen, and the last one is van der Waals force of attraction. So these many types of bonds are there. Okay, chemical bond. So now I'll just explain regarding ionic bonds, and other all the bonds you will be learning in your higher classes. Okay, So the first one we'll see, that is ionic bond or electrovalent bond. Now simple example, if I take your common salt, which will be having formula as NaCl. Okay, so NaCl is nothing but ionic compound. How it will form? So we'll see here. So ionic bond is nothing but it is formed by the transfer of one or more valence shell electron from a metal atom to the valence shell of a non-metal atom. So you might have learned regarding your periodic table, you have metals, non-metals and metalloids, which will be having both a property, metal and non-metal. So here what will happen, ionic bond will take place between a metal as well as non-metal. Okay, so what will happen, the character of metal or the properties of metal you might have studied, the metal will give electron. Okay, metal will give electron and it forms cation. In the same way, your non-metal, it will take the electron. Why it will happen? Just to attain those octet concept. Okay, so for that reason, either it will lose electron or this non-metal will take the electron. So when loses as well as gaining will take place, both metal as well as non-metal will get octet structure. For that reason, it will go for this ionic bond. The metal atom which has lost electron is converted into a positive ion, and a non-metal which gains electron is converted into negative ion, which will be considered as anion. The positive ion we are going to call it as cation. So that is possible with your metal. Okay, because it loses electron. When you go with the non-metal, it takes electron. So by that, a formation of negative ion will take place, which is called as anion. And the next point, the cations and anions thus formed attain stable noble gas electronic configuration. Just to attain that noble gas configuration, just to get that octet structure, it will go for this ionic bond. So the negative and the positive ions are held by electrostatic force of attraction. This is very important, how these ions are held with one another. So a force of attraction will be present, those metal as well as non-metal. So that force of attraction we are going to call it as electrostatic force of attraction. Okay. Now formation of ions from a metal we'll see. Okay, how this cation as well as anion formation will take place. Now ionic compounds results when metal react with non-metal. As I have told, ionic formation cation will take place when metal loses electron. Okay, so metal lose electrons to match the number of valence electron of their nearest noble gas. I'll just explain with the example. Now if you consider group 1 in your periodic table, okay, if you have periodic table, check it once. Under group 1, which all elements will come, those elements will have one electron in its outermost shell. Okay, so it can lose only one electron. As I have told, those are metals. Okay, group 1 elements are metals. So metal, what it will do? It will lose electron because last shell is having only one electron. So it will lose. So that it will get the charge with +1 because it is losing one electron. So why it did +1 charge, that I'll explain later. In the same way, if you go with the group 2 metal, it goes with +2. Group 13 metal, not group 3, 13 metal, because under 13th group, okay, you have metals. Okay, so there it goes, ions will get 3+ charge. Now example, formation of sodium ion, how this sodium ion from a metal to ion formation, how it will take place. Now sodium atom, the electronic configuration if you consider, it comes as 2, 8, 1. As I have told, only one electron is present in the last shell. Okay, so which it don't want, because if it loses this one electron, the inner electron will be 2, 8. So last shell will be this one. Okay, so it is having 8 electrons in the shell, outermost shell, so that it will become stable. So it loses one electron. Okay, either the lost electron you are supposed to write on that side, plus electron you are supposed to write, or here you are supposed to write. Okay, so electrons. So now here 2, 8, 1, by losing one electron it forms as cation 2, 8, and the charge if you go 11 electrons, total 11 electrons are present. So the same number of protons are present inside. So 11 protons are present. So if you minus, here the charge is 0. 11 protons, 11 electrons, charge is 0. So if you go with the ion, their electron numbers are 8 plus 2, that is 10 electron. See, it will lose only electron. Proton will be there as it is. Okay, the number of proton is same. 11 proton will be there inside. So if you minus 11 minus 10, okay, so 1 proton is extra. Okay, if you consider there, okay, when you compare with the electron, 1 proton is extra. Okay, so that you are writing in terms of charge 1 plus. So sodium, when you are writing, it is you are supposed to write as Na plus 1. The next one example is magnesium. So now magnesium, if you consider magnesium electronic configuration 2, 8, 2. Okay, so now here when you are writing, the 2 is the last shell electron. So it gives those 2 electrons to form a cation, that is Mg2 plus 2, 8. Why it get that 2 electrons as a charge 2 plus, why it will get? Consider this. So total now here if you consider 12 electrons, the same number of protons will be present. 12 protons are present. So the charge is 0. Okay. If you consider with the ion, only electron, 2 electrons it has been given. So now it is total 10 electrons are present. Inside proton is same. Okay. Proton numbers are 12. So now 2 extra proton. Okay. Proton charge is plus. Okay. 2 extra proton it is having. So you are going to write Mg2 plus. So these are some examples. Group 1 will be having plus 1, group 2 plus 2 charge, group 13 the plus 3 charge it will be having. Next, how it goes with the non-metal. Non-metals in the sense 15, 16, 17 groups it will be having non-metal, and it gains electron. By gaining of electrons it will get that stability. So now if you go with the example, your fluoride ion formation. Now fluorine it will be having electronic configuration as 2, 7. So outermost shell is having total 7 electrons. How many electrons it need to become stable? It need only 1 electron. So what it will do? It will take those, 1 electron. From where it will take? See, just now we have seen metal. Okay, it is ready to give electron. From there it will take the electron. So it takes electron so that it will become 2, 8. The electron number will come as 2, 8 so that it will become stable. Now why this charge, or how we are writing this charge? As I told before, same thing, 7 plus 2, 9 electrons. So 9 electrons are present, 9 protons are present, the charge is equal now. There what will happen? Extra 1 electron has come. So total 10 electrons are there, the proton numbers are 9. So 1 electron is extra, the charge of electron, you are going to write in terms of negative. So 1 minus. So whenever you are writing fluoride ion, you are supposed to write it as F minus 1. Okay, that is a charge. So in the same way, oxygen it goes. It gains 2 electrons. So if you compare the number of electrons as well as proton, it has gained 2 extra electrons so that it gets minus 2 charge. The number of electrons are more so that it gets negative charge. So this is regarding your oxygen. Now what is an ion or radical? Those are nothing but which will get the charge. Okay, which will be having some charge. Either it is a mono ion or it is polyion. Okay, so here sulfur is an atom, oxygen is another atom. So 2 atoms combined and you are going to get a polyatom. The polyatom also will be having some of the charges. Now symbol representation. What is the formula of a compound? That is a symbolic representation of a molecule you are going to consider as formula. With example we will see. This is very important because the first year as well as second year practicals, when you are writing the salt representation will be done by formula. Okay, by writing of formula. So here when you are writing formula, on what basis you are supposed to write? While writing the chemical formula for compounds, we write the constituent symbols and their valencies as shown. I will show the slide now. So then we must cross over the valencies of the combining atoms after removing common factor. We will go with example. Now for example, hydrogen. Now your hydrogen chloride, that is HCl, is a compound, right? So when you are writing the formula for this, on what basis you are writing? That is HCl here. Hydrogen valency is 1. Your chlorine valency is 1. Crisscross you are supposed to do. So hydrogen will get 1. The charges when you are writing down you are supposed to write. Okay. So hydrogen will be having 1, your chlorine will have 1. So 1 is a common factor, no need to write. The next one, hydrogen sulfide. H2S formula will come like this. How you will get to know that here 2 will come? See, hydrogen valence is 1, sulfur valence is 2. So when you will do crisscross, see, hydrogen will get 2, sulfur will get 1. Okay. So in the same way, some examples are there here. Magnesium chloride. Magnesium, the charge is +2. Your chloride ion charge will be -1. So that crisscross in a sense, magnesium is 1. Your chloride will get +2. So that it forms as magnesium chloride. So this is the way of writing charge. Okay. Now calcium oxide. Calcium charge is +2. Oxygen charge is -2. So you can take common here. Okay, 1 is common. So here you can write calcium as 1 as well as oxygen as 1. So calcium oxide formula will come as CaO. Now ammonium sulfate. So it comes as NH4 charges +1, SO4 charges -2. Crisscross when you are writing NH4 bracket twice. Why you are writing bracket? Because already the number is present over here. Okay, so that you should not get confused. For that reason, ammonia. Okay, first write this. Okay, polyatom in the bracket you are supposed to write. After that, its charge, crisscrossed charge you are supposed to write. That is 2. Sulfate crisscross in the sense it comes as 1. So here, if you want to write bracket as 1, or if you will not write also no problem because the charge is 1 over there. Okay, so this is regarding formula of the compound. So here in this chapter. Today's chapter we have learned regarding how the bond formation will takes place between a molecule as well as between a compound. So that is nothing but chemical bond, and chemical bond on what basis you are supposed to write? Based on your octet rule, that is based on valence electron, as well as you will be able to find out valency by using of Lewis dot structure. And lastly you have found how the types of chemical bond. Many types we have found in that. Ionic bond I have explained now. Okay, and the formula, how you are going to write the formula of the compound. So this is regarding today's chapter. Thank you.